All right, well, good morning, everyone. If you'd like to take your seats and get comfortable, we're going to begin with our centering song. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good to me. With those words staying with us, God is so good. God is so good. And so I know and remember that God is so good. I know God as that love at the center of all experience, all expression, all the isness is God, reflecting itself outward forever. And so I know that I am this love in form made manifest right here. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each beloved here in the sanctuary, those online and everywhere. Love in form, in motion, in beingness. And so how good it is to come together in consciousness, to celebrate the words, the song, the message with Rev Katherine Economou, to come together as a community to remember the truth of our being together. There is power and magic in that. And so I bless this time together. I know it moves with the ease and the grace and the love that is God. I know that with the song, with the message, there are those pieces that resonate. There are those aha moments. There is joy, there is laughter, there is contemplation, and it is good. All of it very, very good. And so I just say thank you for this time, for this remembering, for this knowing. And I release these words into the power and presence of the law, knowing they are so. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Let's give some love to Charlene Kusner for our invocation and our earth-shaking meditation this morning. So thank you for that. I don't know if anyone felt it here. We felt it here. But if you're at home, maybe not in our immediate area, we had a 4.0 shaker this morning that was centered right at Mount Palomar. So it was really close, so we could feel it. It was fun. So great work. Consciousness. And let's say good morning to our music team, Randy and Danielle Tucker. And I'm Rev Katherine Economou, and it's my joy to welcome you here this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. I'm so glad you're with us, whether you're with us in the room or whether you're joining us from online, either in this moment or, we're quickly becoming what they call a church on demand.
right? You can go to church whenever you're feeling it. You can connect into one of our meditations or to our services. And I love that because it's not just coming here and being in person. We can dip back in, right? The idea is to go to the well daily. Can we go to the well daily to remember who we truly are? That was the prayer today, is that we each connect to that divine truth of our being. Because when we do that, everything unfolds differently for us. There's more peace and grace. We can surrender and trust what's happening around us and through us because we know that God's got us. Now, God's always got you, I'll tell you the truth. Even when you forget, God's got you. But the universe wants you to know that you are so right that when you believe that you're alone, you'll have the experience of being alone, even though that presence is still there, right where you are. And it takes just us waking up to that truth to allow us to plug back in and remember that we're never alone. And so that's what we're doing today. That's my best goal for today, is that there's something in this service, a piece of music, a prayer, something that we share that reminds you, oh, right, there's that part of me that's bigger than I could imagine. And it just kind of sits right over here in my space until I put my attention on it and I begin to expand. And so that's what I'm hoping for today, is that we remember that truth and connect to it so that the rest of this day and this week unfolds in the grace and the light of God. And so with that, I'm going to invite us to get into that with a song. Hi.
All right, today our congregational song is called I Am a Light in This World. So if you would all please stand together, let's all sing together. I believe we have the words up this morning. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright.
I love that one. Me too. Yes, good. I'm glad. All right. So, as we move into our moment of gratitude today, I've got two little stories for you. I was thinking about, as I went through the week this week, and I'm always gathering stories for sermons and all that. But I came across these two stories, and it reminded me of kind of where we're in. I have to share that I kind of feel like what I've been talking to a lot of people and setting out our adventure for the year and where we're headed and the kind of work and setting some intentions about what we're going to do here together. And so as I've been doing that, I feel a sneeze coming, so I'm trying to stave it off here. And so as I've been trying to do that, what I'm realizing is that, we've been in this situation for almost 2 years now, and it just feels like a little bit like a rut, right? Like it just kind of feels like things are okay. It's not horrible. Things are calming down. We see the light, the spring is coming. This wave that we're in is kind of starting to calm down. So there's a little bit of hope coming, right? But what has been setting in for a lot of people is fatigue. The fatigue of, oh my God, we're still dealing with this. I don't know how to deal with this. I just don't want to deal with this anymore, right? So there's this tiredness. So if that is kind of where, I have a nod. Is that kind of where? Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we're going in the same direction. So anyways, I came across these 2 stories of hope, of just these little bits of hope and possibility and how things turn out differently. Then I was like, you know what? That's something to be grateful for, that we can still have these kinds of experiences. So there's two that I want to share with you. They're very short. So this came out this week that 58 students were mistakenly told that they received full college scholarships by Central Michigan University.
Oops.
Right? Full ride scholarships. The school said the mistake was the result of a technical glitch. There's a happy ending, though. CMU said the affected students will still receive full tuition to make it right. Right? I was really inspired by that, because you know what? There's one person in that 58 who would not be able to go to college, who had no idea how they were going to get there. They just knew if I took that one step and then I took that next step, something's going to work out for me, right? There's no possible way that kid would ever know that a technical glitch by a silly computer was going to be the pathway to his full ride. We never know what is possible for us. We just need to take that step, right? I'm already sermonizing. All right, this is the second one. Ava, you can tell it moved me. Oh my goodness, hope. Okay, whoops, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Ava, this is what happens when you give me a week off. Okay, Ava Lammy of Vermont says, a lot in the world needs fixing. Melting glaciers, plastics in the ocean, the stress of COVID-19 in her school. Kids fight a lot more now, and I see the worry in my teacher's face, she says. But school counselors say there's hope for us because our children are resilient, as evidenced by the opinion of 11-year-old Ava. There's a lot going on right now, but it's all right. We can fix it. Right? We can do something about it. That really moved me. So as we do our brief practice today, I just want you to go in for a second, just close your eyes for a second and move into this inner space as we have our moment of gratitude for possibility. Because maybe you can't find possibility in your situation where you are right now, but these are 2 examples of possibility that is out there, that they would never have known about. There's agency and creativity and empowerment there for each of us. And so let's today be grateful. Let's be grateful for the possibilities. For the fact that there is this infinite intelligence working behind the scenes for our good. And we don't even need to know about it. We just need to take the step. And so taking a nice full deep breath, and just accepting the possibilities for yourself. Just know, on this day, all you need to do is take the step. And so it is.
So it is. That was lovely. Thank you. It's always good to hear good news. So today, our spiritual reading comes from the book we're reading for January, which is What's in the Way is the Way. I love that title. What's in the Way is the Way. And so she begins. It's by Mary O'Malley. As your curiosity develops, you will be fascinated with what is going on inside of you, especially when you are triggered by life. At those times, you will be able to say, I'm going to let what is happening inside of me take place. You'll be able to fully experience whatever it is you are experiencing without getting distracted by what your inner storyteller says about it. As you give yourself the experience of the fullness of your accepting attention, you can often feel the energy that was bound up inside of you beginning to move and let go. As you see what your storyteller is up to, you will discover how to accept your experience of even the scary, dark, and so-called negative parts of yourself. These are not bad parts that need to be eliminated. You are a mixture of light and dark. Just like the yin and yang symbol reminds us, your dark parts are full of richness and gifts, which they will reveal to you when they receive the light of your accepting attention. Thich Nhat Hanh, our beloved monk and author who made his transition last week, writes, "The fear, anger, and suffering in us are like useful compost. We must not try to throw them out the window. They are quite necessary in order for flowers like compassion, joy, and happiness to bloom in us." This is the basis of our practice. Without it, we will continue to suffer. We will continue to believe that we have to get rid of these negative states in order to be happy. On the contrary, it is very important to accept them. So it is.
So before, I have one more thing. Let's take a breath on that. I forgot something. And I hate when I forget things. And I even highlighted it and started it on my page and I still went over it. We have flower donations today. So I want to make sure we honor them. So the beautiful flower planter here is for our own Susan Hurst. Happy birthday, all my love always, from her beloved Craig. Hey, happy birthday, Susan. And the other planter is for our tech guy today, Steve Butterworth, from his wife and daughter. Happy birthday, Steve. The little one's for you. Yay. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to our music team.
Shivered across the sky.
Danielle Tucker. Let's give some love. Give us some Katy Perry. I highly doubt Katy Perry thinks that her music's sung in churches. I love that we have Katy Perry in church. Okay, so I'm starting with a quote today. Meister Eckhart said, God expects but one thing of you, and that is you should come out of yourself and let God be God in you. God expects but one thing of you, and that you should come out of yourself and let God be God in you. Okay, that's it. Let's go home. You want to go to brunch? That's all we need, right? Like, so that, and I keep pulling it back, and you can tell when I do something over and over again, I'll just give you a hint, it's because it's what I'm working on in my own stuff, in my own consciousness, in my own mind. So when we keep coming back to a concept, it's really for me, but I think it's for all of us too. And so right now, like I said, what we're trying to do is we're coming back to that foundation of why we're here and what we're doing. What's the whole point of this anyways? And I think that the events of these couple years have really pulled our minds into the world of form, into the world of effect and the experience of it, and we forget that we've been talking about the spiritual world behind it forever. And so all of a sudden we get pulled into this sense of limitation, and we get pulled into the story that's we're being bombarded with, and whatever the story is, we're getting lots of stories and lots of sides. I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the stories. And so when we start to realize that our life is limited because of the stories that the world is telling us, we have forgotten why we are here, and we've forgotten what we're doing. And so this whole month, and my intention for stepping into this program that CSL has put out and setting out the months and the year, and I'm getting so excited about what we're going to be talking about that I don't even really want to take my Sundays off as much this year, because I don't want to give away the sermons. I'm like, no, I want to do that one. I want to study that. I want to explore that. And I know when that happens, when I don't want to have a Sunday off, it's like good stuff. There's really good stuff in it. And I think that that's where what will bring peace to our hearts and calm to our minds, and allow our lives to start to flow a little bit easier. Because I don't know about you, but I've witnessed a lot of clunky roads that people have been on this year. And the challenges that come up are a little bit more bitter, a little bit harder on the system. And so we want to embrace the source and support that's there for us in so many different ways. So that when this quote came across, and it wasn't even part of what I was thinking about for this week, but the truth is that we need to remember what God wants of us. What does this life want of us? We just need to get out of our own way and let God be God as us. We don't have to prove ourselves to anybody else. We don't have to make anybody else love us. We don't need to show up in however we think is acceptable. We need to allow God to be God in us and love that. Love ourselves as God, so that when we bring ourselves forth in the world, we are the blessing that we've come here to be, because we do not know what kind of effect and what kind of blessing we are to other people. You are the answer to someone's prayer. You are the answer to someone's prayer, and you don't need to do anything but walk by and follow your instinct and be who you are. And that fulfills the promise that you've made of being in life. So as we come to the end of our first month in this theme of everyday wonder, we've been setting the course for the year of steeping back into the most basic foundation of what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it, and then allowing ourselves to explore that and express it more. I'm realizing how much effort it takes now to keep my mind on the divine, on everyday wonder. I'm realizing that it takes a little more effort than it used to be with the divine every day, to remember that it's the truth, to pause and to steep in it. I used to be able to do my meditation in the morning and do my prayer work, and then I pray in the middle of the day, and when I talk to everybody, I talk to people all day long, and all I'm doing is praying, so I'm remembering God then. But then I pause in the evening, and I'll do some journaling, and that's my day, right? That was my practice. that is not enough now. And that was a lot. I'm realizing that it takes extra effort to keep my mind on God, to keep my mind on that divine wonder in every day. And so it reminds me of, we're at the beginning of the year, and I don't know about you, but a lot of people set an intention to be a little bit healthier in their year, and the gyms are usually packed in January, and people are out on the walking trails and doing all of those things. And so it reminded me a little bit of like when I start to do Pilates again on the Reformer, like when I go back to class after having been off for a long time, and how it's really hard, and then it hurts after, and then that makes you not want to go back because it hurts. I don't want to work out, it hurts, right? No, but it's about building that muscle. It's about building that muscle again. And so what we're doing this year and what I'm doing every week and reminding you to look for the wonder, to look for the magic, to look for that spiritual nature, which isn't really magic, it's just the way life is, but we forget that. So how we keep our attention on it is like building that muscle. It's going to the gym. It's exercising your conscious mind. Because we realize that spiritual living doesn't just happen in church. It doesn't happen just in class or in church. Spiritual living is what you're doing. It's what everybody's doing, whether they know it or not. They're just living, but it's the spiritual pieces. We're having a spiritual life. And so the idea of us remembering that, putting our attention back on it, and realize that when we do apply these spiritual principles, that our lives shift and change. Somebody wrote something that we're called Centers for Spiritual Living, not Centers for Spiritual Navel Gazing. I was like, oh yeah. We can turn into that, right? But that's just a spiritual bypass. That's what we call a spiritual bypass, saying, oh, it's all good, it's all God, all's fine. I don't have to take responsibility for the mess I've created. It's just all God, there we go. No. So what we do here, though, we are called the science of mind, right? We are, the organization was called Religious Science forever, and the philosophy is called the science of mind. So the word in there is science. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, didn't call it spiritual ruminations or contemplations of the mind. He didn't call it that. He called the science of the mind. And so what that means is that there's a science to it. That there's a provable pathway of putting it into practice. And so we are called to be spiritual livers. We're living, not livers, but living. We are here to live this philosophy, to not only study it and think about it and contemplate it and look at it and see how it works. We want to see how it works because we want to live it. We want to use these principles to make our lives better. Ernest Holmes said that one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. So my topic today is prove it. We are called to prove this. It's great. What happens is that we find out about this philosophy, right? Someone brings you here, or you hear something, you come across something, and there's a resonance deep within. I may not understand it, I may not get it really, and whether you've been here for 10 minutes or 10 years, you still may not get it, because there's some pieces of it that I don't quite understand, but there's something that resonates so true within that you're in, right? You're here, you're all here, you're in. And it's when that happens that we have a choice. We start to learn about it. We start to hear about it. Maybe we take a class. We start to learn spiritual principles and spiritual practices. Well, the truth is that sometimes you get to a certain level, and then it's like, well, yeah, my life starts to shift, right? I feel much better. I'm hopeful. I have some empowerment. Maybe I start manifesting. Maybe, some more possibility and opportunity. Maybe I heal a little something that's been bugging me for a while, and then you get really good at getting parking spaces, although I think now everybody gets a parking space at the front of the mall because nobody goes to the mall anymore, but whatever, So those things, and then all of a sudden you kind of hit a plateau, or you think this is great, I love this, is wonderful, and then you hit a plateau. And it's like, oh yeah, it's still good. Yeah, my life's pretty good. And then you lay off your practice. You don't meditate as much, you don't do your prayer work, maybe you don't work with a practitioner, maybe you're not going to skip that class, I'm going to kind of, take it light a little bit, and then all of a sudden your life starts to kind of slide down that slope again, and you don't realize it till you wake up and you go, hey, how did I get miserable again? I was happy. How did that happen? So the idea here is that, yes, we want to learn the philosophy, we want to understand it. That's why our classes are so great, and they're coming back. I'm so excited. I'm putting together a new 3-week class online for a spiritual reset. So all the stuff I'm talking about today, I want us to jump on, because I truly want each and every one of us, everybody who wants to have a huge shift in your life this year. I want us all to pick one thing, just one thing to experiment with, and to see the process work, so you can absolutely know with faith and power that you have the agency and the power to shift anything in your life, because these principles work. So the idea is we need to start looking at this from that scientific perspective. The dictionary defines science as the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Intellectual and practical activity. It's observation and experiment. So the point is that there are two sides of this, right? The knowledge base, and then the activity of the knowledge on the other. We could sit here and talk about this forever, we do. I know I do. Right? But without the implementation of it, you're never going to know if this is really true. So if we accept science of mind as a science, then just the intellectual knowledge is not enough. It's not enough. You have to prove it. And you don't have to prove it to me. You need to prove it to you. You need to know that you can set an intention. You can know the truth about it. You can shift the way that you align to the situation in your life and create. Take that step. And when you do that, then the forces of the universe, the forces of spirit, whatever you want to call it, conspire for your good. Just like those students who had no idea how they were going to pay for college, and there was a mistake, and then they got their college paid for. Right? That the universe conspires for you. But we need to allow it to do that by opening up and welcoming it. In The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes writes this. He says this: "It's easy enough to rush around shouting that there are no sick people. But this will never heal those who appear to be sick. It's easy to proclaim that there are no needy. Anyone can say this, whether he is wise or unwise. If we are to prove such statements to be facts in our experience, we shall be compelled to do more than announce a principle, no matter how true it may be." Right? So that's where some people get confused in our philosophy, because Ernest Holmes and the New Thought theologians would say that there is no, Emma Curtis Hopkins says there is no sin, sickness, or death. Ernest Holmes says that, evil does not exist. That these are illusions. And so that's when students go, excuse me, can we talk about fill in the blank? Holocaust, 9/11, we could talk about all of these things, right? But that's a superficial understanding of this. The experience of evil is true, is real. We never deny someone's experience. We never deny the fact that people have an experience of this, but as a separate entity, as a form, it doesn't exist. But when we align ourselves in a limited view, then you can see how it feels real. And we are compassionate-hearted people. We're not going to say, "That's not true, sorry, see ya. You're not doing it right." That's not what we're talking about. What we want to do is wake up to the higher truth, and we need to do that by taking a broader perspective. And you can only take a broader perspective when you know God, when you feel the divine within you, when you allow yourself the time to contemplate and to, in meditation practice, one of the gifts of it is that you can get to a place where all of a sudden you feel it. Can you give me a nod if you've ever felt it, right? And if you haven't, keep going. Keep going. There'll be a touch, there'll be a reminder, there'll be something that just allows you to know that you are part of something greater, and that's going to allow you to go, oh yeah, this meditation stuff is pretty good. And to start to deepen your relationship with the divine, because when you do that, you can start to allow the broader perspective. You can start to see different possibilities for yourself. You can allow some forgiveness, which is, our book for next month is Radical Forgiveness, and I'm going to bring a few in to the bookstore, and you can start to express some forgiveness and acceptance for yourself. So in moving back into this idea that we're talking about how we prove it, I love that my daughter's in 8th grade, and she's just now, it's so funny, all week she's coming to the end of her semester, and all her final projects are due. She's not here today, that's why she's home doing projects, right? But the one thing that she keeps talking about are these science teachers. Her science teachers are driving her crazy because they're not answering the questions. They answer her questions with a question. And I said, well, welcome to the world, and welcome to the academic study, and trying to be compassionate. And so as she's been complaining about these assignments she needs to do with her science teachers, I'm thinking about how we are a science, right? And how often in class, and people will know, you know who you are, when you ask me a question, I answer it with a question. They get really mad at me when I do that. So that I could recognize it in my kid this week, right? But listening to Emily talk about science, she's getting into that experimental phase where they're talking about putting out a hypothesis, and then figuring it out, and how do you refine it and make sure it's the right hypothesis, and then doing the experiment, and then coming back, And that's what I realized, that's what we're doing. What we want to do right now is create a hypothesis of what you believe about this philosophy. Let's take one aspect of it. We have the axiom of change your thinking, change your life in Science of Mind. It's a very popular phrase, and it's what Ernest Holmes used to say all the time. When you change your thinking, you change your life. So, and by thinking, we're talking about our thought processes, we're talking about our belief system, we're talking about the way we relate to life. If you want to change something in your life, that's what you need to change. You need to change the way that you see something, the way that you relate to it, the way that you believe about it. What you believe about it needs to shift and change. And that core change will change your life. That's what our belief is, right? Everybody's heard it if you've been here for any amount of time. Well, we need to look at that with the objective eye of the scientific method. So that would be our hypothesis, right? So if we believe that, so then what you would do is you do your experiment. Okay, what's the area of my life that I want to see shifts in it? And that's what I believe about it. What do I want to believe about it? Right? You decide what it is that you want to believe and see if you can get there. How you do your affirmations, how you do your meditation, your contemplations, you do your treatment work, you go and talk to a practitioner about what's blocking you from allowing that truth that you're wanting to shift to be true for you. You can journal about it. You can write all the things you don't like about it and burn them. You can do all sorts of different things. We have lots of processes to start to shift your belief about it. And as you start to affirm what you want to affirm, and that becomes true to you, you start to see if your life changes. Now, this isn't a one-day process. Sometimes people think it is. I said my prayer, Rev Katherine, and then my fantastic dream partner didn't show up. It didn't work, right? We need to work at it a little bit. We need to sit with it a little bit. We need to do some work, because you've had a lot of years of your limited thinking behind you, by the way. We've had a lot of years of our limited thinking behind us that we need to kind of clean out And again, I'm going to use another analogy. Anybody doing closet clean out right now? You know what lives in the closets. There's a lot that you can slide in those corners of the closets. I think they're magic, like they really are. You can like fit a lot of stuff in those closets. And so the idea is that you commit to it for a period of time and you do your spiritual work, and then you sit down and you say, okay, let's look at my life how it was then, let's look at my life how it is now. Did this hypothesis work? And that's another place where some people get hooked up on it, because when you get hooked up on it and say it did not, they throw the whole thing out. Yep, Rev Katherine, she's full of baloney. But you don't use the word baloney. I know what word comes out. Right? So what happens then is, okay, well, I'm not quite there. So let me go back, because what a scientist would do is they would go back to the hypothesis and they'd shift the hypothesis just a little bit, they'd tweak it, and then they'd look at it again. And so, okay, so let's take an example. The example I'm going to take is abundance. We're working on that in the center. We're working on that with my Cultivating Abundance work in the mornings. By the way, if anybody wants to join us, you still can. Sign up outside. We're meeting at 7:30 every day. Yay. I'm on this. You can see me on the screen at 7:30 every day. We're doing a 15-minute meditation to affirm this little abundance book, statements of affirmation, and then we go and have our day. I'll tell you, it's been so fun and energizing. Who knew it was great to be up at 7:30 in the morning? I know you all morning people know that. I do not. It's not my favorite. But anyway, so we're going to take abundance as an issue here. So the idea is that our life is a laboratory for you to work with. You know, most of us like kind of go along in our life and just really hope that nothing really bad's going to happen. Like, I just hope I don't get sick. I hope that nobody gets sick. I hope that, we don't lose our money. I hope nothing big happens, and just kind of are, scared about life. That's not the life I want for you. What I would love to see for each of us is to be creating and embracing life and experiencing it to the fullness, to the wholeness, to the magic and the magnificence of it, because there's some amazing things in life. And if we're sitting there holding on and hoping that something bad doesn't happen, keeping ourselves so small. So let's take abundance for an example on this. In the book of Malachi, God says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Prove me in this, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." Right? That's the idea. It's repeated over and over in the Bible. Give back to the divine. Give to that divine presence. You give back to God, and you open your abundance, because what you're doing is you're acknowledging the truth that Spirit is your life. In her book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, Edwene Gaines shares her story of her experiment with the practice of tithing. And how tithing, what she did, it's a really powerful story, and what she did was she tithed her last dollar. She gave the last dollar that she had in the church, and she did it with such power and faith, saying, "This is the divine's dollar, this is God through me," and gave it. And then opened the floodgates that changed her life forever. And that's why she has taught this philosophy since then. So the story is inspirational, and it moves you, and it gives you real great hope. But hearing it or reading it isn't going to change your life. It's not going to do one thing for you. That she did that. She took that step, that she did it. You can never fully understand the power of this or any spiritual practice unless you experiment with it and try it on for yourself. So whether it's the area of abundance or relationship or health or work, the idea here is that you take that step in knowing what is true for you. So we refine what we know to be true, and then we step out in faith and prove the principle. I would love for every single person to prove the principle of abundance to prove the principle of oneness and divine support. That's what I see. That's my vision. Is us working, living together to create glory and magnificence in each other's lives and celebrating that along the way. Can you see that? Can you see how that would be? You know, one of the issues is that a lot of times we think that everything's been known, everything's been figured out, everything's been done, and there's so much that just, you know, we live within this sense of limitation. And it's so not true. There's a story about, I love this one, astrophysicist Natasha Hurley-Walker from Curtin University in Australia. Just recently, this is recent by the way, she was scanning radio signals across the cosmos last year when she came across a mysterious object that unleashed a burst of energy every 18 minutes. Okay? Researchers believe that the signals have a natural origin, like a neutron star, right? And they're not signals from aliens. But Natasha said it was kind of spooky. She said there's nothing known in the sky that does that, right? We are constantly making new discoveries. We are constantly finding new things out about life. Not only just in the cosmos or in the depth of the ocean. I could find different species or the rainforest, different species being developed and different ideas coming forward in all the different fields. And so why not in your mind? Why not in your life? Why not realize that there's possibility and potential there for you? And all you need to do is practice with it. Valerie Carr in See No Stranger says that we become what we practice. Ernest Holmes said that demonstration is the only authority. And so what that means is that demonstration is what you create, right? Demonstration is what you manifest. Demonstration is what you experience. It's the outer part of it. And so if you're still demonstrating in the old limited way, you've got a little bit more work to do. You got to go back to the hypothesis one more time. But you know things are shifting for you when the demonstrations start to shift and change. And then you celebrate that, you mark it, and you celebrate it, and you know, I'm going in the right direction, let's go. And the whole idea of this is that this is supposed to be fun and joyful. That it's not drudgery or work. Your spiritual practice can be uplifting. Even when you miss the mark. Oh, I'm not there yet. I stuck my foot in my mouth again, just like the old me. Whoops. You know, and we start again. A little bit of self-compassion, go back to the drawing board, create a new hypothesis, figure out what the truth is that you're wanting to embody, and affirm that truth. And I promise you, you will see your life start to shift because it opens and allows the floodgates of the divine love to move through your experience. That's what I'm seeing for each of us this year. So as we finish January, let's get going. You wanna?
Yes.
You wanna?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, and so it is.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy, can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care, so call me crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me. A million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Wow, Danielle, wow. Oh, can we just give a little more love for her for that? Beautiful, thank you. All right, this is a time of our service when we have the opportunity to participate in sacred giving. I'm going to invite our ushers to come forward and say thank you to all of our volunteers. We're so grateful. And to everyone who continues to support us financially in this vision of being a light here in this valley, of keeping on doing what we do. And it's so great to have us kind of moving back into that realm together. So we're so grateful. I want to remind everybody that there's a couple of ways that you could give. For our friends online, you could pop over to our website and hit the donate button. You could call the office and talk to our administrator, Cecilia. She could run a credit card for you, or you could mail your offering in. And for everyone, you could join our auto type program, where it's an automatic, you could pick the day that it pulls out. We could run a credit card, and it's just a great way to make sure that whether you're here, whether you're not, your intention of support is steady. And so we're just so grateful that we are still doing what we're doing, and we're here together, working together to create this space of healing and of acceptance and of love that CSLTV is. So thank you. Let us take our offering and place it upon our hearts and breathe our light into it. Because we know that money is energy. That money isn't a creative force, it's a tool. And we put our own energy into it to move through our lives out to that which we want to see grow, that which we believe in. And I know that this offering moves forth to support CSLTV in being its fullest, most free expression, to bring its truth out, to touch all the lives that it can, to support people in remembering their truth, and most of all, just being an avenue of love. That's why we are here, to love. And so this gift is a gift of love, a statement of understanding, of knowing that we are in this together. And so we bless it, we give thanks for it, and allow it to be, and so it is.
So it is.
So please join me in saying our affirmation of abundance together.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
Yes.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
Yes. All right. So announcements. So, as you know, our book study is meeting on Wednesdays online at 10 a.m. and they're currently reading The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. So practitioners Ann Woodward and Julie Nims are heading that up. Our men's ministry is meeting Wednesdays online and in person at Journey's Restaurant. You want to talk to Reverend Michael Summers about that. And our Sisters in Spirit group continues to meet on the third Thursday of the month for breakfast at Journey's. I'm still doing our Wednesday nights Community Connection at 7 o'clock. It's a really fun group. We get on and talk a little bit about what's going on in our lives and do some spiritual practice together. Our Cultivating Abundance series, like I said, is still going on and you can join it. It's not too late to do it. So we're working through the Abundance book. There's a few left in the bookstore. And it's every day. I'm leading it Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. 15 minutes. We get on, we do the affirmation, meditation, I do a prayer, and we go off for our day. It's a great way to start your day. I encourage anybody can join. Just sign up in the and I'll email you the link today. Next week, we're ready for it. Beth Haas, yay! Our vision board workshop is next Sunday, right after service. It's the bye week for football, so there's no football. You won't miss anything. Don't worry. And just come on after service. It's 12 to 3 p.m. And we've got magazines. If you've got magazines to bring, feel free to bring them. And if you'd like, bring your own scissors. You know, that's kind of a good thing to do. But everything else is going to be here for you. So we're excited about that. And then the Super Bowl, we're in the middle of our SOUP, S-O-U-P-E-R, Super Bowl process. So we are collecting cans of soup and stew to give to the Community Mission of Hope on the 13th. So we're this Sunday, next Sunday, and then the 13th is our last Sunday to collect soup. Our goal was 2,000 cans. We're really not close to that right now, but I've got hope. So you can, if you're out and about during the week and you want to drop them off, just give us a call in the office to make sure that we're here. We're in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and or next Sunday. Just bring some cans of soup. And the whole idea of this is that January is traditionally the lowest month for food donations at food banks across the country. And so we just want to do something fun to support our neighbors and friends who are experiencing food insufficiency. 2 more things. I'm offering a 3-week class called Back to Basics. It's time for a spiritual reset. And it's a love offering class and for 3 weeks. And in it will create the basis of your spiritual work for the year. If there's something that you're wanting to do, if there's some directed spiritual work, create a regular spiritual practice that works for you. You'll get clear on your goals and intentions for the year and start to create some steps to move forward in your life. So it's Tuesdays, starting February 15th. It's the 15th, the 22nd, and March 1st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on Zoom. And there's a sign-up sheet outside. You can sign up already. I'm going to do it as a love offering. And truth is, I just really want us all to take a big step this year. Let's create something magical and magnificent in our lives. And we can do that together. So I'm going to pull out all my good tricks. I'm going to pull out all the best of all the things, the processes that I've got. We're going to have some fun. So I invite you to join me for that. The last thing is we've got our tax donation letter. So if you gave last year, we've got your letters, and Cecilia's got them. So everybody who's here, please go see Cecilia if you did a donation this year, and pick up your letter. It saves us a stamp and the need to mail it. And for those who are not here, we will just mail them this week. So you'll have them for that. So that's all I've got. And I guess it's time to pray. So I want to remind you our practitioners are here for you. You could write a prayer request out. You could see one on the breezeway after, and they would be glad to do a prayer for you. Remember, prayer works. It really shifts things. And if there's something going on in your life, I encourage you to get a prayer on your way. So get a prayer on your way in to join us for snacks in the social hall, because they have snacks and coffee and everything, and they want me to remind you that that's a really fun place to hang out. So come join us after service. But I'm going to pray. So let's come together in consciousness here and take a breath. And so let's rest in this moment and remember the goodness of life. That below all the experiences, there is this foundation that is Spirit itself. It's God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. And we are here in the kingdom. And so right where we sit in this moment, the divine life lives. It's at the center of our being. There is a spark that lights up every man, woman, and child, every being, everywhere. And that is God expressing. And so plugging into that spark, allowing its energy, its truth, its light, its wisdom to guide us, to inform us, to inspire us. I know that we each step forward in a new way in this week, allowing these principles to live in us, to practice them, to affirm them, and to allow that new creation, that new manifestation to come forth easily and effortlessly. That we prove this principle, that God is alive as us, and God is infinite, and God is unlimited. God is ever creating more joy, more peace, more love, more opportunity. It is the truth of our being. And so any old idea, any sense of limitation, any old concept simply cannot stand in our minds. They slide into the nothingness from whence they came, and what rises is that realization that we have the power to shift and to change. That we are connected to the infinite that will guide us into that next experience of peace and of wholeness, of love and of light. I see it, I know it. I affirm it for each of us and for all. And so this is a week of light, it is a week of joy, it is a week of creativity, it is a week of healing, and it is a week of peace. And I know we all go from this moment blessed as we are a blessing. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God wasn't Yes, I'm only here for God.
And as we step forth in this week, we allow God to be God as us, and we prove it. So it is.